Okay, guys, welcome back to my podcast. Today I have a very, very, very special guest, someone who might know me better than I know myself. Please give it up for my dad, Oliver Sims III. Dad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Oliver, and haven't had a bad day in a long, long time, especially in the last 25 years that you've blessed our life.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. A lot of my followers, a lot of, my community, they really want to know more about you, the way you grew up, your career, your background, everything like that, our relationship, everything like that. So I kind of want to dig into all of that. I guess first I want to go into like your own childhood. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
sweet.
an open
So
book.
like, well, I mean, basically like when you were a kid, like I guess what was your dream job?
My dream job. Well, next door to me was a gentleman, to us was a gentleman by the name of, we called him Lawyer Perry. He was an attorney. He had this really sweet Lincoln Continental that was yellow and had the wide, white walls on the tires. And he was one of the men in the neighborhood that spent time talking to the kids. And I was fascinated by Lawyer Perry and what he did as an attorney. And he basically, gave me some motivation to pursue higher education. He said, don't worry about what you want to do now, but prepare yourself to be able to do whatever you decide to do later. So he was really a interesting gentleman and an impactful guy on a lot of the young men in the neighborhood, and including us. And one of the things why he was so impactful for me was that my dad decided to leave when I was 7 years old. And so, male role models were something that I pursued, and especially someone like Lawyer Perry next door.
No, that's good. Would you say that that's like some of the best advice you've ever received whenever you were growing up, or what?
Well, it certainly was, right? And you could tell he was successful. You could tell he was learned. You could tell he was his diction was impeccable. But you also could tell that he had a heart for people. And even though he was quite successful in his practice, he still stayed in the same meager house. Now, it was no comparison to what Warren Buffett has done and his success and his staying in that same little home in Omaha, Nebraska. But that advice he gave me to be prepared to get educated for whatever I chose to do later was good, because as a 7, 8, 9 year old kid, you don't know what you really want to do. And so I think that was some of the best advice I could have received.
Okay. No, that's good. So then I guess moving down the road a little bit. So for college, you went to the University of Arkansas, which is pretty much why I decided to go to the University of Arkansas as well. But what was your major again, and what did you end up doing right after college?
So my major initially was engineering. Now, how did I get there to engineering? Well, I looked at the salary surveys. Who was making the most money coming out of college? What were the degrees they had? Engineering was the top. Every engineering discipline was top. So I majored in industrial engineering, but I quickly found out after a semester that no, that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I moved to the College of Business and moved to Management Information Systems because they were just a little lower on the salary scale for new college graduates. So I went with MIS and I got a degree from the Walton College of Business in Management Information Systems. So that was my path, and that was my the beginning of my professional journey, was getting out of school with that degree.
Nice. Now, now everybody doesn't know this, but whenever I was growing up, my dad used to tell me that he was a rapper, and then he told me that he also owned like a store, like an electronics store. Is that right?
Yeah, it was a computer store actually.
Computer store. That's right. Yeah. So tell everyone, please, about your little stint as a rapper because y'all, his verse on the song is actually really funny. It's pretty good, but you got to tell people about that because I tell people that you're a rapper too.
Well, let me just tell you, out of the University of Arkansas, I had two job offers. And what I did learn in my undergrad program, and one of the things I learned is that I did not want to be an application developer. but I needed to leverage my degree. So the two job offers, one was with a technology company, being a developer, writing code. And I'm like, no way did I want to do that, because my last year of school, I was in the lab writing code. I'm like, nope, that's not me. I'm more of a people person, kind of like you, Oliver. And so, but I chose the other one, and I was going to work for Allstate Insurance Company. And that was an interesting selection because it allowed me to stay in the career field. I was working in a data center, and at 22, I was a supervisor in a large data center managing 30, 40, and 50-year-olds with really no management experience. So it was quite an interesting and challenging position for a 22-year-old, but I learned an awful lot in that position, Oliver. It was fascinating.
See,
I
I didn't
grew
realize you were
to a
22.
I was 22 years old when that job materialized, and I took on the job and managing those folks people who had been in their careers a number of years. They knew those systems, they knew their job. Here is a young 22-year-old coming in being introduced as their supervisor, right? So it was a really interesting and a rewarding first
Yeah.
job. I learned an awful lot through some of those early trying times.
Yeah, no, I get that because, I mean, my first job was in accounting. I think most people know that by now. That was a very interesting job, very trying, at least by my standards, is to what I would say. I learned a lot through that. Was not my favorite thing,
Right.
but I learned a lot of experience through that as well. So I totally understand what you mean by that.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Let me tell you
So,
about the wrapping piece of that, okay?
oh
Because it
yeah.
was an Allstate insurance company. So what happened is that rap was certainly gaining in popularity back in those days, and I was always had a bit of a thespian flair, a little bit of an actor, and I enjoyed participating in different programs and different events, and I would MC different things at Allstate. And one of the programs we did is kind of a spoof. We did as kind of a funny. We created a little rap group at Allstate, and for one of our general meetings with hundreds of people, we did a little rap song. Simply like myself and four guys. One of those guys, Carlos Cooper, was a little more enterprising. So after we did it at Allstate and we did it again and again, people came, they were asking for us to come back and perform again at the company. Carlos said, wait a minute, we can make some money outside. We can actually go. And we started performing outside of the company. And we actually, recorded songs, recorded an album. We actually did a show for a medical organization in San Antonio, Texas, and got paid money to perform. So it was quite an interesting ride, another aspect of life that, and evidence that sometimes, you look at something, don't dismiss it early. Give it a chance, give it a try, and you never know what the results may be.
Absolutely. No, that's a very good point. Um, Wait, how old were you whenever that happened?
Probably 25, 26 years old, something like that.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's just skip down the road a little bit to, I guess, whenever you found out that you were going to become a dad. So, I guess, like, how did you feel whenever you found out?
Over the moon. We were thrilled. We were more thrilled. Everybody's excited, right? Most people are when they're a married couple having a kid, or not a married couple having a kid. Whenever you want to have a child and you are able and you conceive and the child is starting to, form in the
Yeah.
mother's womb, it's an exciting time in your life. But we were even more excited because, Oliver, we had been trying to have a child for 9 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it was fun exercising, but it got to be it got to be a bit. Don't tell your mom that. It got to be, it was stressful.
Yeah.
And honestly, we went through all the forms of medical marvels that we could: in vitro fertilization, artificial insemination. We had gone through everything, and we were not able to carry a baby through to it being born. So when you came along, and we really had to, mom had to really take care. The doctor was very guarded with her condition. She had to wind up spending a significant amount of time on bed rest while you were still developing
Yeah.
and pregnancy. But we're really excited about it. And when you came out, Oliver, it was the greatest day of my life, partially because the doctor looked at the baby, then he looked at me, then he looked at the baby, and he said, "You can never deny this kid." We were thrilled. It was awesome. It was awesome.
No, that's
And
great.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was wonderful,
That's
so
great.
yeah.
I've heard y'all tell me that story a lot, but I guess the question I have is, back then, what did you think that I was going to be like as an adult, or at least as like a 25-year-old now? What vision did you have?
Well, number one, when you have a child, you want him or her to be healthy. You want them to have a solid chance at life. You want them to be, as and provide for them the greatest path that you could have, right? And like most parents, we didn't make a decision that we wanted you to be a content creator, a branding guy. We didn't make that a podcaster. We didn't make that decision because that didn't even exist when you were born. But certainly, our goal was for you to have every opportunity that you could at a better than average life. And we were just thrilled that we were able to have someone to provide that opportunity to.
I think I said this in my very first podcast episode, but I give you guys a lot of credit. And I say that I never take my parents for granted because you guys have provided like a lot for me, like a lot of really cool experiences for me as well, like traveling like all over the world. Has definitely provided me with like a great sense of, I guess, like worldview. Like I just see things a lot differently. And that's something that I can't really take for granted because a lot of people like unfortunately aren't able to do that. So
Right.
I feel like you guys have set me up in such a great way, and like I said, I can't take that for granted at all. So I appreciate you
Right.
and mom for doing that for me, seriously.
Well, thank you, Oliver. I mean, and this is the thing, right? A part of my next move out of Allstate Insurance Company was as an entrepreneur, and I got to the fact that we were in the computer business. We had a computer store. We had a radio program for our community talking about computers and hardware and software. That was a great time in life. But my next career move was into the sales business, technology sales. And that allowed me not only to make great income, but it allowed me to travel extensively. And it allowed me to travel globally. And that's how, I developed a real appreciation for travel. And hey, you came along at a great time where we were able to certainly, continue that travel and expose you to those things because it's been said by many people, and I'm not sure who the originator was, but someone once said that travel is the best education you can buy.
Absolutely. I think that there is no better education than travel. I don't know who said that, but I mean, absolutely, because just think about it. Like you are going all around the world. Whenever you are like trying to communicate with other people, you may not speak the same language. You have to like kind of get a little bit creative in terms of like, okay, how am I going to communicate, X thing to Y person? Do you know what I mean? Like how. But also, whenever you're in different countries that have different customs as well, and you are having to, just like sit and observe and see like, okay, how are people communicating with one another here? Like whenever I was in India, I had to do so many different things that I was like, wait, this is super cool, but you would never do this stuff in the United States. Like going into all these really, really, really cool and ornate temples. In all of these insanely fun villages and just having to like speaking to so many different amazing people. It's just that is what I meant whenever I was saying earlier that, it gives me a great sense of worldview because everyone,
Right.
if you're going to stay in your hometown, your home state, your home country, you could get like a sense of like worldview through the screen, but nothing is going to be or nothing's going to be as impactful, or you're not going to learn as much if you don't actually go and experience it yourself firsthand.
Right. I said it's equivalent, Oliver, to smell of vision, taste of vision. Neither one of those will give you the real appreciation for tasting that food. You could look at it all
Yeah.
day long on TikTok or Instagram, and no matter how beautiful it is, and no matter how tantalizing the taste buds get, you can never really appreciate that dish until you actually taste it. So,
Yeah.
tasting those other countries and those other cultures are things that you absolutely need to do. The United States is a great melting pot. We have people from all over the world. That's great. They can tell me about it, but I want to go see it for myself. I want to experience
Yeah.
it myself. And you've always had that thirst for travel, that thirst for learning, that thirst for appreciating other cultures. And that's the way I hope you continue.
I hope I'm able to instill that within my kids as well. Just being able to just go all around. Like the amount of people I know of today who just like refuse to even go to like certain countries or just to go like to certain places around the world just because it's like they don't speak English or because they know that the food isn't gonna be like a normal like McDonald's 6-piece chicken nugget. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, really? Like
Yeah.
we need to, like, okay. I get it if you just never want to do that, but like at the same time, like, come on, let's
Yeah.
just like step outside our bounds just a little bit, you know?
Please. And it's fascinating. When I used to be in the car with me, son, and I'd take you to some properties that we had on another side of the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. I remember a time when I talked to someone who was in a home that we owned, leasing the home, and they had never journeyed 15 miles to the other side of Dallas. They never did that. And I'll never forget they told me this. They said there was nothing over there for me. That is so short sighted.
Yeah.
There is a tremendous amount that you gain from exposure to other people, places, and things. And I strongly encourage your audience and everybody, and your audience is certainly folks who appreciate travel, but some of them may not. And I encourage everybody to go see
Yeah.
it, go hear it, go feel it, go experience it, and your life will be forever enriched.
Yeah. And, I will say, so a lot of people have been commenting, they're like, after, I got stuck and everything in Qatar, they're like, I would be afraid to travel ever again, or I'd be afraid to go out of the country ever again, or do this or do that. And I'm like, I'm not. I still want to go out and explore and travel and whatnot. Like that was a horrible situation, and that was also a horrible timing thing because how I was telling you, like if my flight wasn't delayed by 30 minutes, we would have been out of
Right.
the airspace. We would have been cleared. But yeah, like no, and that's also a learning thing too. Like me being stuck over there, like I was able to just take all these experiences that I've had from going to all these other countries and just I guess kind of applying them whenever I was over there. Just you know what I'm saying. But I just
Yes, I do.
yeah. So I feel like it's just all contributed to um, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, I do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Okay. I
communicate
want to
like that.
ask you some rapid
Sure,
fire questions. Are you ready?
sure. Let's go. Yeah.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee,
Okay. Beach or mountains?
beach,
Favorite vacation?
Singapore.
Singapore was a good trip. That was a really good trip. That was fun. I love that trip. Okay. Favorite meal?
Wow, that's the toughest question you could have asked me. I would say the squash and Italian sausage baked casserole that your mom makes.
Wait, that is actually really good. Oh, well, actually, that leads me to like the very next rapid fire question. What is one word that mom would use to describe you?
Funny.
Yeah, that'd be good. What's your biggest pet peeve?
People who don't try.
I like that. All right. Do you have a hidden talent?
Juggling.
Yeah, you would. I remember whenever I was a kid, you would always just pick up random things. You'd just be juggling. Okay, then last one. What's a song that always gets you singing?
I'm going to pull out a religious song.
Go ahead.
It's I don't feel no ways tired. Come too far from where I started from. Nobody knows that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. That always gets me going because I'm not a singer, I'm a rapper. You know that. But that right there, when I think about that song and I think about how great life has been and how I've been blessed in so many ways, I don't get tired. I get motivated by thinking about that song.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, well, now I want to ask you, is there anything that you always wanted to ask me? I'm going to flip it around.
Yeah. Okay. So, 5 years from now, where would you like to be and what would you be doing there?
5 years from now, I would love to be an actor. And hopefully, I will have already found my person. I will also definitely would want a house in Manhattan Beach, for sure. And also a little place in New York, and of course here as well in Dallas. Um, but that's mainly what I want to be doing. I want to make sure I'm like kickstarting my career in acting because like after quitting my job, I've been trying to do a little bit more of like the correspondent roles in terms of being on red carpets and stuff, and I'm loving that. That is so much fun, and I want to like dive deeper into that, but I'm also wanting to like take more acting classes, more hosting classes, hosting things as well, like I just did with like the Bailey Q, the Cynthia Bailey event as well. So that's what I'm wanting to be doing, just kind of being more out there while also
Great.
having proper investments on the side. So yes,
Wise man. That's
yes,
good.
yes.
Invest for sure.
Any other questions you'd like to ask?
Let's see here.
I'm
Would you
putting
like
myself
to
in the hot
have
seat here.
children? That's true.
Would you
Would you
say?
like to have Would you like to have children? I know the answer to that one. And how many would you like to have?
I would want to have at least two. I love being an only child. I think it's great. I very much spoiled. But I feel like I was raised like properly to not be like one of those only children that will make they're an only children or an only child. Excuse me. But yeah, I want to have at least two. Definitely want to have Oliver Sims the fifth for sure. I'd love to have a girl too. So yeah, just at least two, but not like too many kids.
Gotcha. One more question for you.
Yes.
Can I? May
Yeah,
I?
of course, of course.
When are you going to start your golfing again? I miss the
Oh,
days of us golfing together.
okay, yes. So for everyone listening and or watching, so my dad and my mom, they both put me in golf whenever I was 5, right?
5. Yes.
So, um, I used to play basketball, soccer, baseball, and golf all at the same time, and we eventually just like, you know, narrowed it down to just golf because for soccer I loved it, but I was just like, I don't want to be running all the time. For baseball, it kind of messed with my golf game because
That's
For
right.
golf, I'd be swinging too high, and for baseball, I'd swing too low. And I liked golf over that. And then for basketball, I forgot why I stopped that, but I was just like, I'll just do golf. And so I love playing golf. It's so fun. That's one of my earliest memories too. I mean, I know I like started at 5, but yeah, it is one of my earliest memories. Just being like out on the golf course, like with my dad and my mom. Like, my dad would be playing, I'd be in the golf cart, or we'd be on the driving range. I ended up being on my middle school and high school teams as well, so that was fun. But yeah, like I need to get back into it. I know that I said that whenever I was gonna quit my job that I'd have more time for golf, which like technically I do. I just haven't allocated it towards then. But you know what? Right
It's
now
coming.
it's like 100 and something degrees outside. So whenever the temperature lowers back down, or no, it's 93, it just feels like 100. But whenever the temperature lowers back down, I can promise you, like, I will be out there. And plus, like, with the clothes that I'm being sent right now, like, I need to put them to use. So, oh, absolutely. This fall, this
This
September,
fall will be
in October.
good. You have
Oh,
a
yeah.
date. We'll
Oh, for
definitely
sure.
do it. Yep.
For sure, for sure. So, if you could give me a piece of advice for the next 10 years of my life, what would it be? From 25 to 35, what would it be?
Okay. Well, I will carry on with the advice that I gave you in December of last year when we sat down and you told me that it was time to move to full time outside of the public accounting business. And
Yeah.
you, like always, since you've been young, you've always had a game plan. You've had a strategy and approach, and you've thought through it, and you gave me the 5 reasons why it was time now to move on. What I would say for you in the next 10 years is continue to follow your passion, to keep your eyes open, to leverage AI as a significant business tool, learning tool, productivity tool, to continue to foster relationships all over your chosen industry, to continue to make sure you invest. Like we've got some mutual investments and you've got some independent investments. Continue to pay yourself first because that'll pay off in the long run for sure. Find time, even though it looks like you're having a great time, but find time for Oliver that's not public.
Yeah.
Find time for you. And more than anything, Oliver, continue to laugh, continue to smile, and continue to minimize the things that when you really seriously think about it are not going to have a big impact on your life, even though you feel like they may be impactful.
Yeah.
Treat things that really once you think about it, like, will this matter to me in 5 years? This issue that's right now, why am I getting upset by that? Why am I getting caught up in that? Let it roll off your back like a drop of water in the
Yeah.
shower. Let it go.
Yeah. Because you are, and which I don't think many people know this, um, but I feel like people could pick this up on your vibe and our outfit of the days. But you are someone who rarely, if ever, like gets angry. I don't think if I've seen you angry, that must have been like years ago, or like it's just rarely happened to where I can like barely remember. But you just don't get angry. You, like you said, you just let it roll off like water on your back. Like it's like for you, if it's not like a life or death issue, you always try and see the positive in things, and you are someone who you just have this great quality where, and I wish I could pick this up too, but I just for some reason I can't. But I wish I could pick it up. It's like you're like, you know what? Let me just chill. Let me just roll. Whatever. You have that great mindset, and I wish I could pick that up from you. But like I'm working on it because it's like whenever.
Well,
Sorry, what?
I was going to say, well, let me be clear. I wasn't always this way. I was fiery. I was the, you know, you could light a match and I would be the flame in some points in my life, and things I did not always take things as calmly and look for the positive spin on things like I do today. But the fundamental science will tell you it takes far less effort to smile than it does to frown. That's a fact. The
Hmm.
science will tell you, and the math will tell you there are far more good people than bad.
Yeah.
Yes. So why do we let these isolated episodes of madness completely ruin our life when all we have to do is turn the dial a little bit
Yeah.
or associate ourselves with people who are looking for the up, who realize and value the fact that things are good. We have great lives. Yes, there are things around us that tend to be spinning out of control, but this too shall pass. And we know that things are going in the end, we shall win. So you will get like this because you will have enough experience to say, you know what? I'm not going to let this situation rule me. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to let this individual turn my attitude into something that I don't want it to want to portray. So you'll get it. I'm confident you will. And but
Yeah.
just rest assured, I wasn't always this way. It's a learned behavior.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's true. Basically, with me, I am so impatient, and I'm always trying to like deal with patience. I'm like, okay, I just have. I feel like that's what I'm always being tested on when it comes like with like my faith in the Lord. Like I'm so so impatient, and I feel like I just have to always just sit and wait. And like for instance with like my social media and whatnot, I was witnessing whenever I was still in college, a lot of my friends on social media, they would blow up like crazy. They would be getting all these videos and all these deals and this, that, whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like why am I not blowing up? Like why is this not happening to me right now? This would be like what 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. Some of them now, like since they blew up so quickly, like they now like their following like dropped or something. Like they don't have much because it's like the quicker you rise, the harder you fall, something like that. Not saying that they've
Very
gotten
true.
canceled or whatever, but it's just you don't want to build a following that like follows you so quick. You don't want to have like followers that can come super quick because that means they'll leave super quick as well. So
Right.
I guess
Right.
that's also just something that like I kind of do struggle with, but I'm trying to get better at. You are a very patient person, at least from my perspective. So,
Well, this is the thing, though, Oliver. I mean, your generation
hmm,
is a microwave generation. I mean, you guys think about this. You can have access to any bit of information anytime you want it.
yeah,
Where it used to be a matter of 6 degrees of separation. What that means is that
yeah,
6 people away from you is the contact with anybody in the world. But no, right now you have done this. You could reach out to literally any person in the world and get to them. I communicate with people who are, I mean, these folks are stars or are super
yeah,
business executives and very successful people, but we can get to them. So it's easy to be impatient these days because everything is instantaneous. Hey, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we could not get online and order that shoe and have it delivered tomorrow
yeah,
or today. Your generation is the benefactory the benefactor of this
hmm,
instantaneous cycle that we live in, but you're also it's also to your detriment because you believe that everything can come quickly.
yeah,
Patience continues to be a virtue,
yes,
and the Lord doesn't say often, and if He doesn't deliver it, He's even telling you this is not what you need, or this is not the time for you to get it,
hmm,
right? Patience continues to be a virtue, and I'd love to see more young people say, you know what, yeah, I can wait on it because if I got 10 things I'm looking for, and I receive 6 or 7 of them, I've already won. I mean, I get the other 3 or 4,
yeah,
right? Think
yeah,
about the things you do have and appreciate those. And, a life living, with gratitude
hmm,
tends to bring on more positiveness and more accomplishments because you appreciate what you have and you're not taking any of these things for granted. Consequently, you continue to win oftentimes at a higher at a greater level.
Absolutely. That's a word right there. Okay, well, so closing out, I want to ask you two more questions.
Okay.
Okay, so what is one thing that you hope that people would learn from this life?
From their life, my life, or just this whole life, their life experience.
Yeah, 'cause, like just from life overall,
Okay.
you have a lot of wisdom, and from your perspective, like what is one thing that you hope that people just learn from this life that we're all in?
Yeah. Well, I think I would want people to learn and understand and really reflect on the fact that they have made it through various trials, various pitfalls, various obstacles already. Just think about if just think about all the things you have accomplished and all the things you've been able to do despite the difficulties. So I want people, I'd love and I encourage everyone to just think about what you have accomplished, what you've done, and how blessed you already are. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that and just learn to go there first, right? Go there
Yeah.
first. Go there first. Don't think about what I don't have. Think about what I do have.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Okay, well then, last question. What is one thing that you want people to remember about you?
I was at a funeral this past weekend and a friend's mother, and her life was tremendous. But the thing that I learned the most is that she had an absolute trust in God, one. But second, she was a tremendous investor in people. She was an educator. And this one very successful business guy got up and talked about how he was already successful, but she called him and said, "Hey, I need to meet with you." And she was concerned about some of the things he was saying and how he's really literally saying them. And she invested in him. And he said that she made his career go further faster by pouring into him. Even though he was already successful, she cared so much, she reached out to him. And there were plenty of examples of her pouring into other people. I would like to be known and remembered for helping all of those that I could and all of those that are around me and being a positive impact on people's lives and
Yes.
someone that you could count on doing what you that I say I'm going to do. Trustworthy, encouraging, someone who is here and someone who loves to see others succeed.
Yeah.
I want a big table and I want all of you at it and I want all of us to enjoy what we're doing. That's what I want them to remember, Oliver.
Okay. Well, that's amazing. Well, to everyone who's listening, thank you so much for tuning in. This is my wonderful follower, Oliver Lee Sims III. I would love to have him back on my podcast again sometime soon because he has a lot of great information and advice, and he's just a wonderful ball of wisdom. So, so Dad, thank you so much
You're
for
biased.
joining.
You're biased.
I know I am. I know I am. I know. But no, Dad, thank you
You're
so much
great.
for joining, and to everyone else who's listening, I will talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Oliver, for having me.
Of
Take care.
course.